tops that sit over the crests of corners. Today we actually say goodbye to EP22. I've removed all the stickers and everything off the car, so I'm about to give it a wash. I've got all the spare parts ready for it, and the new owner is on his way to come and pick the car up. The other thing I thought I would do while I'm here and washing that car was pull the M3 out and give that a wash. It hasn't had a bath in, I don't even want to know how many years, so give it a good wash down as well. Make both of these cars look nice and presentable. Put that back in the garage until we've got the parts needed to get working on that. We've actually landed a really good deal with a popular suspension supplier, actually two of them really, and they're both going to work on that car, so looking forward to getting that out and actually getting it ready to go back on the road, because I want to drive that thing. It also needs a big service. The engine is pretty rough, so we'll give it a big service. So let's get them both washed up, say goodbye to EP22, which is a sad thing, a difficult thing to deal with, but we do have a new race car and it's also coming today. I am actually borrowing the car for a week, and then we've got a track day on Lakeside on Friday. So the idea is that I want to test the car out. I'm doing a deal on one of the other cars that I got, which is just a buy and sell. He'll take that car and I'll keep it for a week, and provided we're both happy with both cars, that'll be our new race car. Oh, there it is, all gone. At least I got the M3 to go and dry my sorrows in. Sad sight, Paul? What do you reckon? Hey?
It's gone, it's off, it's going to be a red one soon.
Actually, that's coming tonight. Can't wait. So while we're waiting for the new race car to arrive, it's a bit of an older car. The guy selling it we know personally. We've driven the car a few times. You've actually seen us drive it as well. I bought this WRX over here. I had a blown turbo and I bought it kind of untested. I didn't know if the engine was working well. Put a new turbo in it and turns out actually really good condition. So I got this for about half of what they're worth and fixed it up. Have it registered, have the road ready done on it. Just about to give it a quick clean before he arrives. And the idea behind this is he wants me to swap this car for the car he's got, but included in the deals I'm going to put some MCA Street Ultimates in the vehicle, put some new tires on there for him as well, and then there's also turbo oil return line that's leaking, so that needs to be fixed as well. To make the deal work, I want to make sure he's absolutely happy with the car, so I'm going to quickly give this thing a clean, get it ready for him, and then as soon as he arrives and drops off the car, we'll show you what it looks like. Before I do that though, have to show you the paintwork on this BMW after the wash we gave it. It is absolutely perfect. Looking at it, there's a little bit of watermarks on it. Once we get the rusty bits sorted out on this car, just a good polish, and I think this thing will be stunning to look at. It has made it a lot easier saying goodbye to that race car, because this is sitting in the garage knowing that that's gonna be the baby. Hey Shadow, what do you think? Hey boy? Hey, what do you reckon, my boy? Hey, well, here comes your sister. Hey Missy. Hey monkey. Hey Missy, what you got there? Alright, get the WRX clean. Can't wait to show you the new race car. What's going on?
Hasn't been like 6 months, just saying.
Do you want to bring it up?
Sure.
what colour that should be. It is not that colour.
So say hello.
Hey, I'm Anthony. You guys might see me if you've been at rally days, if you've been to the skid pen.
Basically, he's the guy
days.
who makes skid control work like it's supposed to.
So we're seeing if we can do a swap. I'm probably not going to be racing for financial reasons. The car needs a good home. It's a capable car. It's the motor's completely stock. We're going to see if Dylan likes it, and if it's going to be good, then hopefully it'll be the new skid control race car.
So the idea is that we wanted to get into an Evo. The original plan was an Evo 10. That didn't work out, and then Anthony turned around and he said to me, "What about my car?" And yeah, this is his baby. I didn't want to do this. This is why we're doing the whole week swap thing, because I want to make sure you're happy with that car.
Yeah.
Because I also know this is your baby.
I say that, but look at its paint, dude.
Yeah. Look, it needs a bit of loving. Same color as that car. Well, that paint's a bit nicer than that. A week of checking the car out. I'll change the front pads. Take it to Lakeside on Friday. See how she goes. Forza discs for the front of this car. $508 each. The
Jesus.
2-piece discs.
That's expensive, man.
It's the same ones on the race car though.
The DVAs aren't that expensive. Oh, you don't need the whole thing though. You only need the rings.
That's right.
Because the hats, the ring, and those are new rings. Those rings are super new.
But do you need a special tool for that though? Because
I've got the tool for that.
Have you?
Yeah,
okay, so we might just do that. Are they proper vein discs though? Like they got motorsport veins in there?
Yeah, it's a kangaroo paw style.
No, it's not a motorsport vein.
No,
so the motorsport vein is like the V8 supercars where the vein goes from the inside and it's one solid vein to the outside.
No,
it's pretty much like a turbine. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll see how they go on these. We'll put FR6s on and see how they go.
Yeah.
You'll
need to change the fluid though, because I can't remember.
I will. The biggest thing is it's a proven chassis. So we are going backwards in terms of going back to an older car.
Yeah. You are looking at more power though.
So just so you know, we've got MCA on board with coilovers. We've got Super Pro and Fulcrum, which we haven't actually announced, but Super Pro and Fulcrum are jumping on board. And Paul Rizek from Rizek Engineering, he wanted to jump on board and do a all-wheel drive controller for the Evo 10, which we're originally going to get. Now that we're in an Evo 8, they still run electronically controlled all-wheel drive system. So we can still jump in there and get a full all-wheel drive controller on you. Thanks, man.
Nice, dude.
See how we go.
Yeah.
I'll get the keys for the WRX and you can head off with it, I guess. Mitsubishi Evo 8. I never thought that this would become a vehicle choice of mine, in all honesty. You'll actually recognize this car. This car is a car that we drove. I've driven it a couple of times, thanks to Anthony, and you'll recognize it from this video.
You drifting this thing?
Now, all-wheel drives, obviously excellent vehicles for unsealed roads and rally and that, so not a vehicle I ever thought I would be interested in racing. We did buy that WRX, so we were going to turn it into a race car, but every time I drive a WRX, it disappoints me with how, and I love the vehicles, I've always loved WRXs, but it disappoints me on how much they understeer. My background is obviously drifting, and I like a vehicle that rotates on me for obvious reasons. Can go where I want it to, when I want it to. A simple lift off, a simple trail brake oversteer. That's why rear wheel drives are always such a good vehicle choice for me. I've driven this car a couple of times, and at our recent Carnicross event, it ended up being one of the fastest cars of the day, and it doesn't even have anything special in terms of tires. I don't even know the make of the tires that are on here, to be honest with you. So it was a very low 40-second car, whereas the Evo Race 86 was doing a 39. So the original car that we were going to get as a race car was an Evo 10. Unfortunately, that fell through. Great car, it was pretty much ready in terms of racing, just needed a new motor. Turns out there was a lot more wrong with the car than originally thought. Turbo, manifold, clutch. The vehicle's got a lot of changes made to it, which will prevent us doing what we want to do, which is production touring. That's the end goal. We want to get to Bathurst 6 Hour eventually. The Evo is a great platform. This is a bit of an older car. It is over 15 years old now, but they still hold their own, and their whole all-wheel drive system is electronically controlled, so we can do what we want with the stock drivetrain. We can put whatever amount of force we want in each of the diffs, the front and the rear diffs. The The other thing is, as you can see now, I'm driving it on the road. That's quite important for us because we want to be able to use the car for a wide variety of races and driving, including things like Target Tasmania, perhaps, road rallies, and because it's never been a stat write-off, if we put a cage in it, we can rally reg the car as well and drive it legally on the road, obviously with limitations. As you can hear, the brakes are a little bit loud at the moment. The brakes are close to the end of their life. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to put fresh Forza FR6 pads on the front. The discs are good. They actually are DBA 5000s, I believe they are. So they're a two-piece front rotor, and I believe that the disc itself is only one set of pads old. So when I pull the wheels off, I'll check to see how bad the lip is and then just put some new pads on there. And the idea is just to be able to test the car at Lakeside this coming Friday, because we're running a track day out there. Golf brake fluid going in here because, you know, it's just one of those things you don't skimp on. You always make sure you've got a decent brake fluid. We're going to start working towards actually getting everything done and ready for this to go on track. We've got to get it ready for the next 300 race that's coming up in September, but there's a lot of work ahead of us. So cage, seats, all the safety aspects, harness, fuel system. These cars only got 53-litre fuel tank, which won't last half of the 300, so we need to do something with fueling. Probably just end up doing the same thing we did in the 86, which was just an additional tank. I'm also on my way to go get a couple of parts for the BMW. So Track Hack needs new front drop links, so we're going to pick up a pair of those. And the E30 M3 has got completely disintegrated bushes with the front lower control arms, so we need to replace that. And then it's going to go into a suspension place where they're going to make up a custom set of coilovers for it. And we are very happy and very proud to announce that Fulcrum and SuperPro have jumped on board this year to help us out with all of our cars. Starting with the E30 M3, they're going to do a full bush replacement on that car. So everything's going to go polyurethane on that car, make it all nice, fresh and tight again so we can actually drive it and have fun with it. The race car, they're going to obviously get involved with what we can do within the rules, a lot of alignments, because obviously we're doing a lot of development. But we're very excited, very happy to announce that SuperPro and Fulcrum Suspension are now on board as a sponsor for Skid Control. Right, so we've got parts. That's the lower control arm bushes. I've just noticed now that they need to be pressed in and pressed out, so the chances are I'm going to need to come back with that anyway. And then we've got fully adjustable drop links for the BMW. If you don't know, SuperPro is local, Fulcrum is local, all Australian made, and they all come with a lifetime warranty as well. They got parts for four-wheel drives, cars, race cars, all sorts of stuff. But before we even landed this deal, the Race 86, so the Evil 86, that was full SuperPro bushes underneath it. And yeah, Skid 86 is full SuperPro underneath it. Pretty much every car that I've replaced bushes for, it's SuperPro stuff, because it's locally made, easy and quick to get, and the quality of the products is really good. Having a company like this on board to help us out, man, it makes things so much easier, so much nicer. And then we get to promote local companies and local parts and you know, keeping things in Australia, keeping business in Australia. Let's head back and let's get started on the brakes on this Evo. I forgot, there's another obvious reason why we wanted to go for an Evo, and that is turbo power. One of the best parts about Brembo brakes, you don't have to remove the caliper to change the pads. All we need to do is remove pin, there's metal plates, and the whole assembly and pads just come straight out the front. Push out the pistons over there so that they are all the way out into the calipers over there, and then put new pads in with the whole assembly, pins through again, and then that's the brake pads done. And then we'll go through it and we will put fresh Golf brake fluid through there. That was nice and easy. Now we'll put some new fluid in the system and quickly check all the braided brake lines on the car. Put the race tires on for an alignment before our track day on Friday at Lakeside. Brakes and tyres sorted on the Evo. Yeah, new fluid in there, I've got the new pads in there, we've got the other wheels on. Take Evo down to Keith for wheels for an alignment, and we'll be at Lakeside on Friday to give it its first test. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's like out on the track with a bit of grip and a bit of brakes on it. But that's it from this episode. Very stoked to have a new race car, the Mitsubishi Evo 8. The next video we'll have for you will have the coverage of the testing of the car at Lakeside Raceway, and potentially, hopefully, getting some of the BMW done so we can go drifting at Archerfield sometime soon. Make sure you check out our website at www.skidcontrol.com.au, facebook.com/skidcontrol, and Instagram /skid_control. Until then, we'll see you at Lakeside.